Happy New Year to everybody. Wishing you all the best for this year. In 2025, I would like you to commit more to each other and to your sex. And I would like you to understand why. Why it is one of the most important things for you in 2025. The importance of sex is often underestimated with disastrous consequences for your life. We think that sex is just some kind of pleasure that you enjoy when you desire it, almost like recreational. How can that be so important? And actually it isn't. That is not what sex really is. With the person that you love, with the person in your life. And if you don't currently have a person that is your person, that is the person that you love, but you want to in the future, then hear this as well. Sex is one of the most important things for you in 2025 because your partner is one of the most valuable and precious things you have in your life. Many things in life you can achieve with more work or buy with money, but somebody who really loves you and is there for you, with you in this life, your soulmate and your companion, this is priceless, and it is not as easy to find as many other things, especially in today's dating world. If you are with somebody you love, or you have found somebody there, you've got to do all you can to make this work, to not let it fail for easily avoidable reasons, like sex. Having your person in your life, having real love and harmony and wellness in your relationship, this is the base of your life. When that base is well, that home in your life is well, you can do things in your life so much better, everything. If that home, that base of your life is poor or painful, this affects everything you are doing in your life. Your choice and action will define so many things in your life. For example, that you will live on from here in happiness and well-being, or you will go through the nightmare of pain, relationship trauma, years of restoration, and an impact on your self-esteem and your sense of self. It will also define if your children will grow up in a healthy, loving family or a broken family where your children are shuttled between dad's home and mom's home. From that base of love in your life, having a healthy relationship and healthy family, everything will be different. Everything will be well. From that base of pain and fracturing in your life, broken relationships or broken family, everything will be different. It is incomprehensible to me when people ask me for sex tips, instead of asking me, how do I really properly learn about sex? It is incomprehensible to me when people think it is too much time to spend on learning about sex. Because from where I'm sitting and what I have seen in my practice, what happens down this road, I can't see a more precious thing in your life right now that is more influential, more important to keep, more important to invest your time and energy into than your partner, except your kids, of course. Why is sex such an important thing for you for 2025? Because of all of that. All of that is the outcome. You maybe have defined sex as some recreational pleasure and orgasms that you just want to get a few tips for. But really, through sex, you are creating a connection with each other. You feel together, you feel close, you feel connected. Through sex, you love each other through your bodies with a really powerful physical love. It is a unique and powerful kind of love that no other love in your relationship can take the place of. And if you love each other in all the other ways in your relationship, but you don't have the sexual love, then there will still be a black hole in your relationship. And yes, when you do sex well, then you also create a much richer pleasure than ever and more orgasmicity than ever through this connection and love as well. And that pleasure and orgasmicity in love becomes a very nourishing, powerful substance for you and your relationship. And it does so many things. So in sex, you're creating this nourishing substance for your relationship. And then because of that, in your relationship, you feel healthy. You feel connected, you feel nourished by each other, you feel loved by each other. The sexual connection that you create is a substance that keeps you well in your relationship, keeps you well together. And when you don't have that substance, then everything else can be great and loving, but there is a hole there and a distance that nothing else can fill. And importantly, I'm not just talking about not having sex at all, because a lot of people, they have regular sex and they still have that distance and that hole and that malnourishment that eventually brings catastrophic results. It's not just a case of not having sex at all, but also having sex that is shallow, mechanical, disconnected, superficial, just about some pleasure and coming. Basically sex that has no real nutrition. Then that hole is still there, even though you are having sex. And to fill it is not a case of just having sex, but improving sex. So I just want to be clear, in case this is not resonating with you right now, that sex is such a, magnificent thing that does so many things for you in your life. I'm not saying that just because you are managing some sort of sex, regardless of the quality, you are feeling that health in your relationship. If you don't feel that, it's very natural. It's about having sex that really provides that experience, instead of damaging and disconnecting you further, which sex can do as well. So when you have a really good, nourishing sex, your relationship flourishes. There is harmony, you are happy and well together. And when you have a poor quality of sex, there is a disconnect that is growing, tensions, distance, not feeling loved, not feeling connected, even if you manage to knock out a functional orgasm. And who knows where that will lead to. Number one reason for all breakups and divorces is sex, one way or another. It could be just a disconnect that was achieved through your sex life, lots of tensions and conflicts that came out of it that made you fall apart. It could be an affair that happened because of a disconnect that was already in your sex life. It could be just an escape from this partner, to be single and to meet somebody else who will allow you to live your life to the full, because sex here failed. So sex is not what makes your relationship stay together, of course not. You can't build a relationship just out of sex, and if anything, I would advise against that kind of thinking. There are other things as well, of course, that make a healthy, loving relationship. But sex is just one of those essentials. For most people, it's not really optional to make it work well. It is not something you can just ignore or replace it with something else that is good in your relationship. It's a very specific and unique nutrition, an important one, and only sexual intimacy can provide it. And that is why I really encourage you to commit to your sex in 2025, because your partner is one of the most precious things you have. Having that will influence your life more than most other things. Your partner is one of the hardest things to get and so important to hold on to. And losing them, at least on the basis of sex, is so avoidable. Commit now that this year you will nurture and nourish the sexual side of your relationship. You will nourish your partner with love through sex. But this commitment goes further than just deciding to have more sex, because you can have crappy sex as well. Commit to really learning, discovering, exploring how to give the best to your relationship, how to really feed your relationship with sex so that it stays well forever, how to make sure your sex is not dysfunctional or toxic or empty of all nutrition, but it is that real nourishing experience that you need. You have a choice which practice of sex you decide to adopt, but this is up there as one of the most important things to learn about in your life. Start now. Start on the 1st of January. New year, new commitment, new better life.